A warlock, burn him!
Oh, calm down now. What makes you think he is a warlock?
He turned me into an elk.
An elk?
I got better.
And so did Kenrith return to the throne of Eldraine and bestow upon us the deck of Kenrith Midrange, such that we can look upon it and be amazed. Today on the Lab Maniacs. Kenrith Midrange is a deck focused on maintaining the highest card quality possible and taking full advantage of Kenrith in the command zone. It starts out as a 5-color deck, running the best of the best in card draw, interaction, tutors, ramp, and modular win conditions. Kenrith himself is an infinite mana outlet. He can gain you life, add +1/+1 counters to creatures, reanimate creatures, give creatures haste and trample, and make anyone draw cards. Which means you have several ways to win. We can get infinite mana and just use Kenrith. Or we can use the two other major winning lines in cEDH. Underworld Breach, and Thassa's Oracle. Now, it might seem a little odd to jam in combos specifically designed to win when we have it all in the command zone, and all we need is infinite mana. However, both of them have notable advantages and allow us to play around potential stacks pieces that we may see. Before we talk about those workarounds, here's the main plan. Dockside Extortionist. Yep, that's about it. The most basic line requires the Dockside will make us 3 treasures. We cast Dockside, then Deadeye Navigator, soul bond them, and flicker Dockside for infinite treasures. Then use that mana to activate Kenrith and make our opponents draw cards until they attempt to draw cards from an empty library and lose the game. If we can get 4 treasures out of Dockside, we can use Emil the Blessed and do the same thing. Move Dockside up to 5 treasures, and we can use Kenrith and Mayhem Devil. That doesn't get us infinite mana at 5 treasures, but it does give us infinite pings with Mayhem Devil, which will kill all of our opponents. Now really stretch and bump Dockside up to 8 treasures, and then we can use Dockside, Phantasmal Image, and Kenrith. We cast Dockside, get a bunch of treasures, use those to cast Phantasmal Image as another Dockside, cast Kenrith, put a +1/+1 counter on the Phantasmal Image. The Phantasmal Image sacrifices itself. We reanimate it with Kenrith, and it re-enters the battlefield as another Dockside Extortionist. Guess what? This gets us infinite mana yet again. Now, these Dockside treasure counts may seem a little high. I know the 8 for that Phantasmal line is quite a bit. But here comes Training Grounds. That Deadeye loop, you only need 2 treasures. The Emil loop, same, just 2. Mayhem Devil, it's down from 5 treasures to 3. And Phantasmal Image, down from 8 treasures to 5. This makes all the Dockside treasure numbers way easier to get to, and much more easily attainable in pretty much every game. And yeah, Dockside Extortionist really is that busted of a card. You may be wondering why we would build a deck entirely around Dockside Extortionist, and how we can get it so consistently. And that's an entirely valid concern. It's just that in 5 colors, we have so many tutors that it's really quite easy. Gamble joins our normal black tutors and gets things into our hands. And if we don't tutor to hand, we can use Neoform or Eldritch Evolution on a mana dork and put Dockside directly into play. We can also grab other key combo pieces with both of those. Spellseeker can get us Neoform, and then can get itself Neoformed into Emil. Kenrith can also get Neoformed into Deadeye Navigator. And Kenrith lets us Eldritch Evolution a Dockside into Emil, and then just reanimate the Dockside. We don't care as much as if they're in the graveyard. Kenrith just brings them back and keeps the combos rolling. And with all these tutors and recursion, why do we have backup lines in the deck? Well, if you look back at those Dockside Extortionist lines, they all rely on creatures. So if there's a Cursed Totem in play, we can't really use any of them. So we have to have alternative options that will get us in a spot to either remove the Cursed Totem or just win the game for us. Enter Underworld Breach. We have many lines here. The classic Brain Freeze and LED line, of course, but we also look for Wheel of Fortune and Hull Breacher. This gets us new cards in hand, more cards in our graveyard for escape costs, and lots of treasures for mana. This will let us dig through our deck so that we can find an answer to the stacks element and clear the way for our win. Now, if we take another step back and look at both of those previous winning lines, they both rely on treasures for mana. So let's say if there's a Null Rod or a Collector Oof out, we can just transition into the last line, Thassa's Oracle and Demonic Consultation. The big advantage here is that most decks running these stacks elements are built to hate on one and use the other. They will hate out creatures but use artifacts, or they will hate out artifacts and use creatures for mana. We have lines to work around either of these situations, and in the worst case, we can sidestep the stacks pieces altogether and take a trip over to the Lady of the Lake, win on the spot. Our high density of tutors lets us shift between strategies very quickly, and both Demonic Consultation and Tainted Pact can be used as instant speed tutors if needed in a pinch. Now for our main game plan, we're looking to have ramp and an engine in our opening hand, like Rhystic Study, Mystic Remora, Smothering Tithe, Survival of the Fittest, or Dark Confidant. All of these will get us cards, mana, or let us tutor for creatures. With the cards, we have more options on how we want to develop our board state. With the mana, we can deploy out Kenrith and start getting residual value through attacks and through drawing cards. And with the creature tutors, we can easily search for our winning lines. Our high density of efficient tutors, interaction, and card draw let us transition smoothly between strategies as the game progresses. So we can transition from long-term value plans to combo lines almost instantly, and then fall back on long-term value if we get interrupted. Very rarely will we be out of cards and without a plan moving forward in a game. I've put a link to the deck list and the primer in the description below. There are several more lines of play that are documented out, but they all really focus on how to win with Dockside Extortionist and Underworld Breach. A big thanks to Hire and the Kenrith Discord for maintaining the deck list and primer. And that really is Kenrith Midrange. It's a deck based around your commander as both a long-term value engine and as a win condition, using all of his abilities to keep you in the game and moving forward. And with that, Kenrith has buried me in an ever-growing pile of +1/+1 counters, and I need a break. See you again next time on the Lab Maniacs.